Hello there, my name is Philip and welcome to Totally Amazing. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a fantasy elf. So when you think of elf, it sort of conjures up lots of different images. You've got your little tiny elves, you've got your Christmas elves, and you've got your fantasy elves. The kind you would sort of expect to see in things like Lord of the Rings or World of Warcraft, or even in my comic Antispire. There's lots of tall elves in there as well. So what makes a fantasy elf a fantasy elf? Well, it's just the pointy ears, isn't it? Well, yeah, but there are just a few subtle differences. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be doing a little series on fantasy races. So as you can see here from this image that I've done, we've got our dwarf, we've got the elf, we've got a human, which is going to be the measuring stick for all of them, and an orc. And today we're going to be focusing on our elf. So as you can see from our elf, it's taller, but it's also thinner. As if someone's taken a photo of a person and just sort of stretched it like that. And of course the ears are longer as well, which is a given. So today we're going to be focusing on the elf, and I thought why not introduce you to a character from my story from Antispire, Yaronath. So you've got Yaronath, and he's a druid and he can turn himself into any creature that he gets a piece of. So he has a necklace and he just holds a piece of the, say like an animal, and he can turn into that animal. Pretty cool, huh? Now Yaronath being an elf, he's also arrogant. Most elves are very arrogant. They sort of know how important and graceful they are, and they let you know that as well. So we've got to bear that in mind when we're doing a pose for our characters. And so our character is a snob. They're going to be very standoffish, like, oh, look at you. Right. Let's start drawing. Okay, so we're going to start off with our stick figure of our character. So we're going to draw a nice, long torso. But remember, he's going to be more narrower, so thinner than an average person. So we're going to make sure that the shoulders are not as wide as I would for a human. And then I'm going to have the legs. And he's going to have a cross-armed pose, so I'm going to make sure I draw a cross with the arms, and remember the chest is going to be a jelly bean over here, and the pelvis area is going to be a triangle, so I can see that. Now the head's going to be a little bit different from my elf. Usually I draw a upside down egg, but that doesn't quite give the right shape for an elf's head. Remember, extended, long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle, and then I'm going to put like a triangle at the base of it, so it elongates the shape of the head. And of course we need markers for where the ears are going to go. Now I don't want to trick myself and think that's the eye line, so I'm going to put my eye line up here. His head's back and he's looking down on you, so that's why I've got the eye line rather high. Put in some markings for my feet, and the hands are going to be down, and this one is going to be hidden, so I'm not going to be able to see that one. Okay, so now put some flesh on the bones. So I'm going to put in a circle over here for the shoulders, and then now you want to think thinner than a normal human. So remember our comparison, we want to make sure that the elf is subtly thinner than our human would be. I'm going to make this chest stick out a little bit over here, so I'm just going to stick out a little bit over here. See, it's pointing this way now, so I can just add to the arch of the back. And then down here we have our legs. And remember, I'm going thinner, not as wide as a human. You don't want to make them, just a subtle little difference to make your elf thinner. So let's start putting the details onto the head. So let's start off with the eyes. Remember, he's sort of looking down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a curve there and then have the eyes coming off that on either side. So it's like an arch on either side, and then the eyes coming off. And then the eyes are going to be, I'm just going to draw it here for you so you can see a bit bigger, looking down. So you're going to, it's sort of hanging off the bottom there. Imagine the circles like here. That's what we're going to do with the eyes. So the eyes are going to hang off the bottom there. So it gives the look of looking down on you. Oh. Now remember the elongated features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the nose just a little bit lengthened to normal. And the nostrils over here. Now the mouth, I'm just going to put in a M shape and have the line underneath. Now notice that we've got this big chin here. That's fine, that helps accentuate the length of the head. So let's just give him some eyebrows. Like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the actual face, the actual shape of the head. So you want to come out a little bit and then down, and make sure the chin is rather long. So I've made it rather lengthy at the base there. Bring it back up, and then we've got our hair, and our head, sorry. Now I'm going to leave the ears for just a sec because I want to work on the hair, because some of the hair is going to be in front, some of the hair is going to be behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some long strands at the front here. either side of the head, because that's what Yaronath has. And then just some extra bits for the actual head itself. Now I can just put in my neck, long neck, and now I can put in some extra long bits. I'm just going to curve that around just a little bit more. You don't want it straight, you want it more of an S shape, make it look more interesting. And then just have a few little bits at the back. Now I can work on the ear. So I'm going to put in a hook at the base and then a curve, and then I'm going to bring it straight out. Now notice this part of the hair will be in front, the rest will see the ear. So I'm going to rub this out a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So we curve up and then we go out and then back. So what I'm doing essentially is this. I'm going a curve, another curve, and then out, and then at the top there. And what I can do for a little bit more detail is put in a curve and fill it up at the top. And there is your elf's head. So remember, long chin, long ears. So it's almost like a V. So what I'm going to do now is going to start working on the arms, because the arms are next in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a big wide shape first to give me the basic overall shape of what the sleeves are going to be doing. So think of it like a curve on the inside where the arm actually is, and then bring it back a bit. And he's also got some shoulder pads that stick out. So I'm going to put one line over on each side, but he actually has three. So 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to put in some more details in the actual sleeves themselves, because I've got the basic shape. I'm going to go up and bring it around like so. Bring it down and bring it back up, just like this. It's actually easier than it looks. And there you have one sleeve. Same on this side. So here's the edge of the elbow over here. So I'll go a little bit above it and bring it down, go a little bit under it and bring it up. And then we'll just put in some jagged lines and bring it back up to the shoulder. I'm just going to clear this up a little bit to make it a bit more clearer. So they sort of go on top of each other, like that. Think of them as giant leaves, because the elves are really into nature and all that sort of stuff. So that's where we get that. Okay, so now the actual forearms. So I'm going to make them a little bit more defined now. Now when you're doing your cross arms, you've got one arm going down and one arm with fingers up. So what I'm going to do with this side is I'm going to make this side the down, and this side's going to come over. I'm going to have 1, 2, only going to see 3 fingers from this angle. So 1, 2, 3, and that's our hand. And what I'm going to do is put a little pattern on his forearm here. So what I'm doing is going line, 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 coming off the line previously. What I like to do for my wrapping, just like that. So that is our arm. So how about we start working on the chest now? So Yaronath, he wears this long robe. So I'm going to put that in now. So what we do either side, put down the line and continue it down to where the belt would be. So he wears a belt about here. So what the belt is basically 3 leaves. So and then we bring the belt back, just a rectangle like that. The bellowing continues around to the legs on either side, so we can bring that up and see that. What I want to do now is just put in a few more details. I'm going to have just a bit of a few lines here, and so I'm going to go out a little bit there and come up. See, it's tucked under, so that's what that's for. Bring that up, and again some more just fold lines at the top there. Now, like I said before, he's got a chest plate, so I'm going to put that down. Now it's going to be half hidden by the arm, so all I need to do is just draw that, and that's our chest plate. Bottom part of the body. Okay, so now we're going to, so we've continued our line here. I'm just going to add a little bit extra line there, and it's going to come around and wrap around the legs. So you want to go up and up. Same on this side. Bring it around, but this time I'm going to come a little bit further around, so it's wrapping around the body and bringing them up as well. Okay, finally, and he's got a crotch pack. So I'm just going to put that sort of like a U shape there. And that's our body. Alrighty, so let's start working on the legs now. The legs, he's got some bellowing pants. So what I'm going to do is that just underneath the knee, I'm going to put a curve, and then I'm going to bellow out and back to the body, bellow out and back to the body. Again on this side, bellow out, back to the body, bellow out and back to the body. And then you can just put in a few extra lines near the groin and a little bit at the knee area. just to help sell the pants look. So it's clothing, it's cloth, it folds. Also remember the back of the robe, so we've got to bring that around as well. So following the line on either side, and there you have your robe continuing at the back. All right, finally now let's put in our boots. So we're going to have just a nice little shape, little curve coming down, out and in, little ripple, and then down and back. Not as wide. Remember thinking narrow and thin, not wide. And now we do the same this side, out and in, a little ripple, and this time it's going to be a little bit more straighter towards the front. Little V at the side there. Alrighty, and that is the basic sketch of our elf. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my marker, and I'm going to mark in all the lines that I want to keep, and then rub out all the lines I don't want to keep, and then I'm just going to colour them in. And there you have it, how to draw a fantasy elf, otherwise known as Yaronath from my comic Antispire. So you saw Yaronath today, so maybe you're thinking, oh, I'd like to learn a bit more about him. He looks interesting, he could turn into stuff. That's really cool. So make sure you check out my comic Antispire. There's a link in the description for you to check it out right now. Okay, so you want to make your drawing more epic? You got to check out the video that's on your screen right now. I go in depth on teaching you how to draw a flaming sword. It's so good, check it out right now.